try this again, shall we? You guys may have not remembered meeting her because it was in the final stretch of the Infinity Saga, but there is a woman. There is a heroine. Her name is Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. She has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree. She has taken down the Supreme Intelligence. However, unintended consequences see her shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe. Remember that jump point system that was established in Guardians of the Galaxy 2? And anytime you saw the cosmos during the MCU, that was a prevalent piece of imagery because that showed you how vast the universe was. Yeah, that thing is tearing apart for some reason. When her duties sent her to this anomalous wormhole that is linked to this destabilizing jump point system that was caused by a Kree revolutionary named Dar-Benn. Her powers become entangled with her niece, Captain Monica Rambeau, and a Captain Marvel superfan all the way from Jersey. Her name is Kamala Khan. And together, they form an unofficial team called the Marvels. For the first time ever, since the ending of the Infinity Saga, Marvel Studios' Multiverse Saga now more than ever has better connectivity to the broader MCU and brings clarity in where we are headed. This news is simultaneously marvelous as it is malevolent. A strength, but a weakness. The biggest asset, but also the worst liability. Let's point this out right now. A valid criticism of the modern MCU right now, post-Endgame, the Multiverse Saga, as most of us formerly know it as, a lot of projects, not every project, because every project, there are some projects that are still peak fiction out here in the MCU, but the majority, if not all, MCU projects have been focusing solely on the next thing instead of focusing on the now. See, the reason why we cannot enjoy the projects for what it is now is because we are waiting for that post-credit scene that will get us pumped for the future. But you know what? The post-credit scene that is setting up the next project, you know what that next project being set up by this post-credit scene that you're watching for this movie is going to do? Now when you watch that movie, now you're going to wait for that post-credit scene. And then when you watch the movie that was set up by the post-credit scene you just saw from last year, now that's going to get you excited for the next thing. The problem is we are so fixated on what's coming that we cannot focus on the now. This is why movies like Shang-Chi and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Spider-Man No Way Home and Loki Season 2, What If Season 2 are a few of the best projects post-Endgame. Not to mention WandaVision and Loki Season 1, but we'll get to that later. The Captain Marvel franchise alone though, outside of the overarching story, whether we're talking about Infinity Stones or alternate realities mashing into each other, creating incursions, already has such a sour reputation for giving us arguably the most underwhelming superhero in the MCU. She's a dry turkey, she's a cold turkey, she's a piece of raw chicken that is not well marinated, not well seasoned. Remember when Kevin Feige said that Captain Marvel would be the most powerful MCU hero? But the most powerful MCU heroes aren't always the best written ones, are they? From little things like Kevin Feige promising that she will be the most powerful hero of them all, to having her characterization not feel as rich or layered as someone like Steve Rogers or Tony Stark or Shang-Chi just recently. But when you take her solo film, Avengers Endgame, her brief appearance in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that makes 3 appearances in the MCU thus far. The time between 1995 and 2023, which is 5 years after the events of Infinity War, which was 2 years ago in real time, that's a long time, and that is a lot of history unaccounted for that we would have loved to see. So understanding Captain Marvel's current state in the universe and why she is facing Dar-Benn is being hindered by a wormhole in the narrative. You want to know what's worse than an underwritten character? Not seeing what that underwritten character was doing on screen. Everything that we've seen, everything that she's done happened off screen. And this is kind of something we don't want to see because first rule, show, don't tell. So if you're gonna make us fall in love with the Captain Marvel character, how about you just show us what she's been up to since 1995 instead of trying to sum it all up in some dialogue, which I don't mind some good dialogue. There's some good dialogue in the Marvels that kind of get you caught up to speed with the other 2 women. But when it comes to the captain of this starship, how about we just take a little time with her before we team her up with some women? But that's a little bit besides the point. I would often hear how the Marvels should have been the part 3 to the part 2 that we have never seen, hence off-screen development, because there are several things in the film relating to how Carol Danvers' actions have affected the Kree Empire up to this point. But it's lacking context, thus being the reason why Dar-Benn falls short as an efficient antagonist. This is going to sound harsh, forgive me, but this one major flaw makes it seem as if the Miss Marvel show, the Miss Marvel Disney Plus show where my girl Iman Vellani portrays Kamala Khan, who is a real-life MCU fan, playing a character who is also an MCU fan. Don't you just love it when they do stuff like that? That show, as good as she was, not the writing has nothing to do with her, but wouldn't it have been nice if we had gotten a Disney Plus show or a miniseries dedicated to what Carol Danvers has been up to in between her first film, and now you could title it something called, I don't know,
Captain Marvel, the Annihilator.
The lack of insight doesn't just affect the fan base, it also affects the people closer to Carol. Which, while we're on the subject of people close to Carol Danvers' circle, let's try this thing that they do. Rock, paper, scissors, right? Rock, paper, scissors, okay. Rock is Captain Marvel. Paper, Monica Rambeau. Scissors, Kamala Khan. So let's try this thing. Okay, thank you, Captain Marvel. So first, let's do a debrief on why we are entangled like this. She may have not properly explained it in the beginning of the video, but we're entangled because Dar-Benn has found this quantum band, and it's awakened the other quantum band that baby girl Kamala Khan has, and now it's causing the three of us with light-based powers to basically play switcheroo, Freaky Friday syndrome. But here's what's happening. Captain Marvel can absorb light. I can see it thanks to my electromagnetic abilities that I gain after crossing a witch hex thrice, not once, not twice, but thrice. In one of the best Disney Plus shows in the MCU right now, which is WandaVision. Have you not seen all episodes? If you haven't seen all episodes, please go watch WandaVision. It is truly a masterpiece under a different type of narrative. Monica Rambeau is a great character in that. She's one of the best characters on that show, and she had a pretty great story arc, and this is how she became... What did they call her again? What did Kamala say? I don't know. It kind of... My powers are based off of the electromagnetic spectrum. Spectrum? Photon? I don't know. We're still working on it. It's a working title. Easter egg. When we re-enter Monica Rambeau, who we obviously saw in the first Captain Marvel when she was 11 years old, and the only other time we got to see her was in WandaVision on Disney+. As was the case with Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan, a.k.a. Ms. Marvel. Some of these expository elements that reintroduce us to both of these Marvels works so that we don't have to do the homework. Listen, if you are somebody that does not have Disney Plus, that feels like you're gonna miss a lot going in, or you felt like you have missed a lot of things coming into this film and you haven't seen it at the watching of this video, go watch it, and trust me, even if you don't have Disney Plus, I think they explained it pretty well. I think everybody pretty much sums up how they got their powers so that you don't have to do all this tedious homework by binging episodes to what is otherwise still great series. Great series, but not everybody has that type of money to play Disney Plus. When it comes to Monica Rambeau, though, she's already one of the best written characters of the Multiverse Saga. She's already one of the best technically new additions to the MCU because she was introduced the same time as Carol Danvers, but she has better substance because she was a child when we first saw her. She's now grown up and she's now bearing the superhero moniker, the superhero persona, Spectrum. Yeah, we're gonna stick with Spectrum. It rolls off the tongue well. And what you see are the saber colors here, black and white, because that's where Nick Fury is currently doing his base of operations in space. Not sword, not shield, but we're now in Saber. Saber is definitely here to stay. But I feel that it is her consistency with logical thinking and being our voice that helps to pardon any anomalies within the narrative to make this make sense. Now, anomalies have been in my vocabulary ever since I worked with Darcy Lewis on WandaVision, we've been helping to deconstruct this witch hex from Westview, New Jersey, which is not too far from where Kamala Khan is, and that's cool because now we're not too far from where we found baby girl. She practically puts herself in the audience's shoes and answers the questions we all have. Like, every question that y'all have, every question that y'all are asking in your head, I'm asking it too. And I'm trying to answer the questions we all have, and I feel some type of way when left with more questions when greater concerns start to embiggen. And speaking of embiggen, oh my god, let's go, my first blog, boy. It's so good to be on YouTube, it's so good to be in the Marvel Universe, it's so good to be a part of the MCU, it's so good to be part of a bigger universe that I just don't know yet. Okay, so, Kamala Khan, right? So the one person that is definitely embiggen since she came into fruition is the Avengers mega fan of New Jersey, Kamala Khan. Iman Vellani's portrayal of Ms. Marvel is one of the rarest gems of the Multiverse Saga. This is solely based on the fact that her comic book counterpart is just as easy to resonate with in the post-Stan Lee era of Marvel characters that include Miles Morales and Hulkling and Wiccan and Speed and all the other young Avengers that I can't wait to get teamed up with Kate Bishop and Stature and Billy and Tommy and America Chavez and whoever finds themselves on the Young Avengers team in the foreseeable MCU future. Making her Marvel Comics debut in 2014. If you don't know Kamala Khan as a character, she made her debut in 2014. Kamala Khan is groundbreaking enough because she is the first in-universe superfan of the characters that we are diehard fans of here in the real world. Not 616, but in y'all's reality. And this is what makes her a fan favorite outside of being a superhero herself, that makes the Middle Eastern culture feel inclusive, and that's always great to see. Representation is everything. Booyah. I stated in my Phase 4 Disney Plus ranking video on this YouTube channel, go check it out, that the Middle Eastern representation was the best thing about the Ms. Marvel show. And I know I do apologize, Carol, saying that she would rather have my show canceled in order to have a miniseries happen for her to give her better context to what's going on in this film, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Whatever it takes for her to get the spotlight. Let's go, boy! I love that girl so much. She single-handedly, with one hand tied behind her back, she knocked Thanos to oblivion. No one else can do it like her. I'm sorry, Thor. I'm sorry, Captain America. Not everyone can do it like Captain Marvel. I'm sorry. I'm telling y'all, you will not see me bear no other colors. You ain't seeing me bear no red, white, and blue, no red and gold, no lightning-based suit. You will always see me wearing Captain Marvel's colors. You will always see Ms. Marvel being inspired by her hero. She was born for this, baby. I stated in my Phase 4 Disney Plus ranking that the Middle Eastern representation was the best thing about the Ms. Marvel show. With the Khan family, my older brother Conrad, my mom, and my dad being at the center of it, and in spite of that not being the focus of this film, the Khan family still contributed to the fun of the film. When going into the Marvels, I had no big expectations outside of wanting it to supersede its predecessor, which is like the blandest MCU film in my opinion, and it did just that. And if it's better than the first movie, then that's fine. That's all that matters. Guess what? It is better than the first movie, so it will be rewatchable for whenever you want to revisit it from time to time. Is it as rewatchable as some of the grandiose monuments that hold this franchise up? No, but this is better than some of the lamest projects to come out of the post-Endgame era, because we live in a time where, you know, things are running out of originality and Hollywood is running out of ideas, but that is why we need fresh writers and fresh ideas and great minds that think alike like mine to come up with fresh nuances for things that are so familiar to us that we have seen already. However, I felt that the so-called sequel would have been a great opportunity for Carol Danvers' characterization to drastically improve from being an isolated character to being a team player. Because remember in Avengers Endgame during the opening act, which I still couldn't believe that opening act was what it was, because I watched it and I was like, where is this movie going? And so Captain Marvel insisted on killing Thanos, not knowing that the compound in which she was standing in is filled with a team that always does things together, but she insisted on doing it herself. So she obviously doesn't have any experience with working on a team. She works with Nick Fury, she worked with Agent Coulson, she worked with with the Skrulls, but that's not like a team. Those are just associates. There's a difference between friends and associates. Carol Danvers fighting alongside the Avengers does not make her part of the team. Just because we're on the same battlefield, that doesn't mean we are a team. We're just fighting the same enemy. And I think this is why having her meet Kamala Khan was the most important thing for her character arc. I would even beg to add that the cosmic entanglement between the three ultimately symbolizes that Captain Marvel will never be given the option to fight her battles while isolated. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, I swear on my life, I refuse to see you fight your battles alone. No wonder you were destined to be entangled with your biggest fan in the world and with your long-awaited niece. All right, let's get back to my girl. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! All right, the entanglement is finally broken, thank God. Okay. But I love that girl. Don't you just love Kamala Khan? Isn't she just a ball of joy? The best super fan in the world that any hero or any Avenger could have. But with a current 62% recommendation on Rotten Tomatoes, the Marvels may succeed at 3 other things outside of being higher, further, faster. That's us, than its predecessor. But not even the depths of space can fill the whole of a shallow narrative. So for that, I'll just say it deserves a 75 out of 100 clips to the jump. But until we can get these incursions fixed, which I'm being caught up to speed about what's going on in the broader Marvel Universe, until we can get these incursions fixed and until we can fight the unforeseeable threat to the multiverse, I'll see y'all at the finish line.